up this morning and me totally forget. We're live, by the way.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. We are live, I'm told, and haven't seen it, but not take your word for it this morning.
Yeah, I totally forgot to send out the invitations to everybody this morning. And so I'm taking my own little time to send out the invitations to the people who I normally inform that the show is on in the morning on a Saturday morning. Because I'm take long to wake up, I have to wake them up.
Yeah.
So unlike Michelle and Diana, who just wake up, automatically at 5 o'clock in the mornings,
Don't tell a lie on us, but let me try and mute this thing. Okay, fine.
Oh my gosh. And we're waiting until everybody tunes in so that we can say a broad good morning to everybody instead of saying a good morning to two people and then we have to come back again and say good morning again. You know something? Somebody said to me the other day, I'm going to take a poll with you guys right now, okay?
Okay. With us too? Or...
Just a tone. Oh, no, well, okay. the people that can come into. Yeah, the people that can come into. Somebody said to me the other day, Leo, oh, you chat so much patois upon the show. So I need to find out if it's okay with my audience that I speak patois, or may I have to go to the Queen's English? We can't speak the Queen's English, by the way.
I'm quite fine with people being comfortable in how they speak. So if it is that you want to speak the Queen's language in its precise form, or you want to have patois in its purest form, or you want to have a hash of them both, I'm fine. And I much prefer a mix of them all because then it's more us. It's
authentic,
more
right? Yeah. Well, Michelle can't speak, period, because she mute. But
no, I'm not mute. Well, to be honest, I like talking patois. I think it is important for our culture for us to talk. It's a Jamaican show. And I know that we alternate when we want to get the message across between patois and English.
Yes. Boy, I'm telling you, I was so surprised that somebody said that to me because, it's not like we're here trying to be anything other than who we are. We are who we are, and I hope they weren't challenging me to you can't speak English, that kind of thing. But I want to learn. There's one Jamaican language that I want to learn. And it's one down at St. Elizabeth, because I don't understand. When I go south St. Elizabeth, I do not understand nothing that the people say. I really don't. And I really need to get to understand what they are saying when they say. Have you been there? Have you listened to them?
It's hard to understand some of them.
Really hard.
Their words, they probably just say no what they refer to. It's just a different language, and it's probably speaks to the diverse culture across Jamaica. So yes, we have diversity within Jamaica itself.
Yeah, you have a lot, but are you talking about those that live near in the German community?
That too.
Yes, they have a different blend too.
Yes. But I was speaking South St. Elizabeth, yes, but German town, Seaford town, they speak completely different language too. And I appreciate that kind of diversity. That's the word that you used a while ago. I really appreciate it because Jamaica is so different. You from one parish. When I'm talking to somebody from Montego Bay, I know that I'm talking to somebody from Montego Bay. I can say you come from Montego Bay. You know that?
Really?
Yes. Yeah, man.
How can you do that?
Yeah, man. You can.
especially Kingston and certain parts of Kingston. Like
yes, definitely.
they have different
Kingston, yes.
Yeah, but they have different type because I didn't realize like a lot of people, like with migration, left from actually country. Because I have a whole set of family that live in Waterford. So they have a different blend of the, town with the country. So it's kind of unique. But yeah, it's a lot of different. Even in Trelawney, when you go different parts of Trelawney, sometimes I'm like,
I was waiting for the Trelawney part, I was waiting for the Trelawney part. Jesus.
yeah, but you do, and then sometimes you're wondering, like, what?
Yeah.
But it is interesting. Have you ever done a study?
That's why I like Mary. That's why I love St. Mary, because St. Mary is a midway between all of them. Everybody can understand us. We don't have the whole about the inflections and the whole about different things, but we are like the Queen's English. Everybody understand. I think. No, American English. Sorry. Oh, and so, but I'd love to meet somebody. Anybody know? I was working at one of my first jobs at the NIS, the National Insurance Service in Jamaica. So I think that's what NIS means. And I was an inspector. Someone who goes out into the business community, inspect people's books, make sure that they're making them payments to the NIS and stuff, right? And I also oversee or oversaw. Is there such a word as oversaw?
Why don't you just use the patois that we used to deal with?
Oversaw. And at that time, I was responsible for the benefits that certain segments of Montego Bay, the persons would come to me directly to application for benefits and see what their benefits look like. And it was all about files and stuff. My God, we didn't have no computer at the time. And I remember the receptionist called me and said, there is a young lady up front who wants to see me. So I said, okay, I'll come get her. And I went up and I saw one woman at the front, but she was white, completely a white woman. And I also, in my mind, I walk towards the reception. I say, what a white woman I do in IS, So I walked up and I was looking around to see who came to see me, because it wasn't this white girl. She was about 20. And I asked the receptionist, so where is the person? The woman said, I'm in this. Oh my God! I almost went on the earth. I never heard that in my life. I was brand new to Montego Bay, within about 3 years. So I'd never seen anybody from Seaford Down. And so, boy, I'm telling you, that floored me. Bad. We have it.
So I trust that you're able to recognize that it was she, Sarah, and deal with our matter and give her our benefits.
Oh, man, she get our benefits.
And no withhold on the woman benefits.
She couldn't talk any English. She was pure St. Elizabeth type patois.
No, she spoke St. Elizabeth English.
Okay, St. Elizabeth English, yes. But I knew she was from Seaford Town because she told me that. And I had I'd heard about Seaford Town before, So, yeah. Oh, wow. That was really great.
I'm trying to figure out if something is wrong with my internet, because when I look on Facebook, I notice that the quality of the video not as sharp as it is usually when we stream. And so I was wondering if it's covering me.
Let's look at it.
I think it's your internet because it's clear here and you're clear.
Fine. But that's fine.
Thank you, my technologist. Thank you so much, Michelle, my technologist.
I kept shuffling and moving my connections and all that. But if you said that,
wondering.
Okay.
You're clear.
Okay, good.
Some people, Nancy Brown said, good afternoon from the UK. Nice to see you all. Good afternoon. Pauline Hawk says, good afternoon, watching from UK. Nancy says, Sainty people are getting better because they're moving around. Sonia said, yes, every parish people speak differently. Lorna said, good morning from North Carolina. Lawton said, good morning to the panelists. I love the color coordination. Was it planned? Yes. Sonia said, Florida, watch.
Answer! You shouldn't answer, man. Sure. Keep the people in a suspense, in an offense.
Sonia said, Florida watching. Pleasant good morning. Nancy said, there's something distinct between the country areas and how they speak. Lorna said, hi, Leo. I also worked at the NIS office. I worked at head office, 1974 to 85.
Oh, we were working there together. Good.
Yeah. Porter said, my mom was from Elderside, St. Elizabeth, and spoke proper English.
Thank you. Someone just corrected me just now. She says, Beverly says, it's National Insurance Scheme. I don't like that word at all. Scheme. National Insurance Scheme. I don't like that at all.
What's her name?
Aluna Samba, yeah? Huh?
Oh, no.
Aluna Samba said, good morning. I am in, she says she's on vacation. Oh, good morning, Aluna.
Aluna on vacation, which part?
He can't tell you where tall, master. She have to tell you that. Leslie Williams over in, what a place name again? Cayman Island, he says. It says, good morning to you. And Don Curtis said, welcome, good morning from Africa. Hey!
We're going global. We're global people. We're global.
All right. So Diana, you want to tell them what the pink is all about today?
Oh, so in celebration of cancer awareness, breast cancer awareness month, and just cancer awareness generally, we all decided that we would get together this morning dressed in pink. So we sent Leo shopping and he bought for himself a pink polo shirt. And Michelle and I just simply went to our closets because you know us, we always have pink. Leo now knows that he will have to have pink all the time. So that's what we're here to celebrate and to build an awareness and probably just to ask persons to share to what their own experiences have been and their challenges as we go through this. But I don't know which part you're about to on vacation.
But you know, I would like to reach out and deep into our audience. And if there's someone who would like to share if they've had breast cancer, they've had breast cancer, and there's someone who want to share their experience and don't mind giving us the toe-to-toe, head-to-head details and see if we can and get some information to the broader audience and let them understand what they need to do, what that person did, and it's that man or woman, what that person did to help themselves to become a survivor, a thriver, you know, of this really bad illness that nobody seemed to have an answer for. And I'd like to share. I've done before. No, I have 5 shirts, 5 pink shot. Okay, I have 5 pink shot. And I have them because in 2013, my sister Sharon came down with cancer. And she died from complications of cancer. What the word name, what the big word name where take over parts of the body and thing, right? What name? Something under that. Help me now, please. People want to help me the word. Anyway,
I know the word, but what the pronunciation?
It got to our lungs. And
travel all over.
yes, and they couldn't save her, and you know,
Where was she? Here or Jamaica?
died in New York. So she died the 2nd of May, 2013. But her birth month is October. The 28th of October is her birthday. And so generally I spend a whole lot of time on breast cancer month, on the month of October. You know, this month, I must say I didn't start out with that, but I generally spend a lot of time talking about breast cancer during the month of October because it's her birthday.
Yeah, my test pronounce it. Why do I always mispronounce it? My testicize.
She's not doing very well with this word here. Please help her, please. You know, we call it again. Syllabalicize it.
I always pronounce it wrong.
I don't know.
It's just always safe to say it's spread.
It's spread.
It's spread.
But yeah, breast cancer is a thing, and like people, like I have this lady that lives in my community. She always, like, at the bottom of her email, she always write praying for a cure. Like that's her thing, you know, like everybody have, because she's had it like 30 years, but it keeps coming back more aggressively. And one thing she pointed out to me was that when she got it in her 20s, because she was so young, they gave her the option to get augmentation, you know, reconstruct. And she said her mom, who had it before, said, I don't recommend doing it. And she said, because she was young and she wanted to wear her bathing suits and all that stuff, she said it was her choice. She was going to go ahead and get it. And then the thing was that, as you know, like years ago, they came out that the whatever they're using in the implants was leaking. And then it caused her to have a more aggressive form of the breast cancer. And then now it has actually spread to her brain. But she's fighting. But she's just a fighter. Like sometimes I see her walking around the community, just going, and she's just living, you know, like her hair, she just shows her hair, you know, losing the hair. She doesn't wear any wig, anything, just so people, and she's always spreading the message. And she keeps fighting, and I've known her since I moved in here for 5 years.
Wow.
Just fighting. And I have other people closer to me, I don't want to mention, that have been fighting. And it is a battle, and it's hard for people to just watch people go through it. But we have to learn how to. Why are you laughing while I'm talking about a sensitive topic?
No. Someone is correcting us on it's the word, on the word. So I'll take it after. That's not to do with you. Sorry.
Go ahead. Pronounce the word.
Me can't pronounce your mad. It's spelled MET, metastasis. So it metastasize.
So people are spelling wrong too.
We have a nurse.
Okay, people.
Beverly Frey says metastasize. Thank you so much, Beverly. It's so nice to have you on the show, nurse.
Well, I prefer to say spread. It's spread. But it's sad.
But Michelle, you know, I thank you for sharing that story, that experience, you know, and we commend your neighbor for living her life yet, because there seemed to have been a time, and I say that it have been a time when persons had diagnosis of cancer, and then everybody thought, you know, oh, the end of the world, I'm going to die tomorrow kind of thing. But the science really is improving. People are learning to take better care of themselves. People are starting to do their examinations earlier so that we can begin to address it earlier than before. And so we just celebrate those people who continue to live their lives to encourage others.
Yeah, that's one important thing though. I know people always say, because I remember when I do my yearly, they always say wait until you're 40.
Yes.
To do the mammogram. But I think it should be done earlier, because now I'm seeing like you have 20-year-olds with breast cancer, 30-year-olds. So I would encourage everybody to go do their yearly,
Heck,
like to figure it out so you could actually fight it earlier. Because as you say, like once you detect it earlier, you're able to fight and then, live a longer, fulfilling life. Because people have lived with it. You have seen people who have their stories that still fight daily. And as you said, people dying, like it's really hurtful. Because I've had people close to me, like they're going through the whole process, the treatment, it wears out your body. And to have people who are not understanding just say, oh, but you got dead. Oh my God, you are dead. That's not helping. That's not helping them to fight. So if you have nothing good to say during the fight, just don't say. And a lot of people, as you say, no, they don't want to tell people they're going through the fight because of the judgment and these statements by people. That's why they don't want people to know.
There is a saying in Jamaica that was a time in our history when doctors never used to tell people what they're dead from. You remember that? Have you heard that?
Doctor never tell people what?
Where them dead from?
Are they
But they can't tell them when they're dead, Leo.
Tell the family them man. Choman. The family them man.
They don't know.
Jesus. And tell the family what the person dead from.
Really?
And yes, back in the 60s and 70s, people used to just die, even them die 40 or 45, they just die of old age. Doctors used to hide. This is what I'm told. Doctors used to, because it's such a hard thing to deal with the presence of cancer, because nobody had any way of fighting that thing, and people just lie in their beds in their home or they're immobile and just die. And when they die, they don't tell them. Understand the logic, but we are far ahead of those days now, where the important thing is to identify it early, and so that there are things that the doctors and the nurses and the scientists can do to help. The drugs that we have these days can help to extend life and to treat the pain or to treat whatever. I mean, there's something that came out about probably 10, 12 years ago, that the kind of treatment. What do you call it? Treatment? What do you call it?
The chemo.
Chemo. There's a type of chemo. The regular chemo that they use would go and burn out a lot of cells. Yes, and it burn out good cells and bad cells.
Yes.
There's a technology now that will go directly to the bad cells and burn them out. And so it won't leave people all dried up and burned out after chemo. So I don't know how well that is going these days, but
it's going well.
Advancements are
advanced, because even with some cancer now, some you just take a pill. No. Going for all these treatments. But it's important to really understand and give people time to heal and go through the process. And another thing I want to highlight too, where I've seen people like they have this fear and be like, oh, they don't want to go to the doctor, so they prefer to listen to people tell them about all these holistic stuff, that instead of getting a medical professional to actually diagnose and give them treatment and no suggestion, they just listen to these holistic or people from the community said, drink this bush, drink that bush. And then by the time they do all these bush, it spread further. And then when they try to go in for help, it's kind of too late. Nothing can be done. So you need to use holistic, work with a medical professional, an expert, to see what works.
I agree, because some the people complain about tea bag. You see, when you go and take up a whole thing of bush and put it in a pot and boil it and we call it, and draw the tea, right, and drink out the whole light. you know, you don't know what the measurement of these things that are going inside your body. I have a friend who actually was diagnosed with cancer, and once he was diagnosed, he didn't go back to the doctor and just start drinking all heap
Bush.
stuff, and him have the buckle them, the rum buckle them full all over him house, and him get up every day and drink a whole heap of herb stuff in them thing there now. I talk about roots and things, and they are not measured. And so you don't know what those things are doing to your body. So it's best that if you're working with a herbalist, work with the herbalist and the doctor, so that, and the medical doctor, so that you can make the right judgment as to how. A tea bag, that little tea bag of mint tea is all that's required in your body for that particular day. Okay? And so don't try to stuff only tea night and bush night and drink coffee.
You know, Leon, which is why the old people would tell you, don't use more than X number of leaves. But somewhere along the line, we've lost it. My grandmother said 3 to 5 leaves. If you're going to make tea, it's 3 to 5 leaves. So there was some measure of it, but some people just get carried away on it.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges, as I listen here, and I'm scanning some of the comments, is the support system that perhaps don't exist within the workplace. And let us start there. What is that support like within the workplace for somebody who gets diagnosed with cancer in Jamaica or even in the US? I'd love to know if you get diagnosed in the US.
Like here, I don't know, like with like one of my friends, close friends now, she's going through her cancer battle. But one thing I've noticed is that what her employer did was work around the whole thing, so she's able to stay home and focus and not lose her pay. So like she's not immediately fired. Plus he provides her with little thing just to encourage her along, and they do fundraiser to assist with
medical
helping with the bills, and they check in. So now she, even though she's been battling it for going a year, she hasn't gone into an office, but she still gets her monthly pay, which they know it helps her family.
Beverly
so that's what I've noticed. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Beverly further says nowadays it's easier to treat some cancers, especially breast cancer, because genetics can help us specifically certain cancer. Gene therapy she's talking about. Okay. Let me repeat that because I can't read what I want. She says that nowadays it is easier to treat some cancers, especially breast cancer, because genetics can help us to specifically certain cancer. I think what she's trying to say is that certain cancer, because of genetics, because your mother may have had it and your sister, your auntie, everything may have had it, the possibility is that they can prepare you better, so that just in case you know that you have some prior stuff going on, you know, and so you can identify it quicker and be able to treat it. She says gene therapy.
Yeah, gene therapy. Yeah, I heard about it. And also, a lot of people are doing it because I've had, I guess because we get older, you realize, like one friend, like her family have ovarian cancer, grandmother, her so she removed hers.
Yes,
that was such a shock.
And my sister should have been more cautious, because I have 1, 2, 3 aunts who had breast cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it's working now. And people have removed their breasts too because they're prone, and they see like during that therapy, whatever, they see that they have a high percentage of them getting it. So they just went ahead and just remove.
Yes. Mish, can we take some comments before we go into further?
Portes said, as an RN, I've dealt with all forms of cancer. The research have come a long way. Philip said, have 2 sisters in Jamaica who are breast cancer survival. They are younger than I am. That's great. Philip said, early detection is better. The age is not an indicator anymore. It's now in very younger folks. That is true. Yvette Bennett said, my first reaction in knowing that I had cancer was a difficulty I had in just saying the word cancer. Pauline
I
said,
have to
please
find out
remember.
if she's in Jamaica.
Yvette, are you in Jamaica?
Where was she when she got the diagnosis, and what was the support like from her work?
Pauline says, please remember that it's not only women who is affected by breast cancer. Men are now getting it. That's true. A lot of men are getting breast cancer. Lorna said, Lorna said, I hate cancer. I lost my sister to cancer of the gallbladder 6 years ago. 2 years ago, my cousin, who never smoked a day in her life, died from lung cancer. Yesterday, I attended the funeral service of a co-worker who died from oral cancer. She was diagnosed earlier this year. Praise God, my friend is a breast cancer survivor since 2014. I also have a co-worker that survived stomach cancer. Johnny said BRCA. I'm not sure what that means.
Broke out.
Research. I don't know what it means. Paula, tell us what it means, Johnny. Paula said, good morning, all. Can you get someone from Jamaica Cancer Society to inform us about their work in Jamaica? Anybody is familiar with anybody from Jamaica Cancer Society? This much I know. Jamaica, I've had a lot of people who have had cancer and they're in Jamaica. And with the improvements, they are working and a lot of people are surviving in Jamaica. But like the only thing with Jamaica is you have to have the money.
Well, the support that is here, and I think that Dianna alluded to it. Support here is not just from the family. The American government spends a lot of money in support, community programs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the Cancer Society is very, very active, and there's so many organizations around that are very cognizant of this thing that's bothered us for a long time, and they are out there to bring you in. There's so much walks, there's so much cancer walks throughout the year. People do 10Ks and 5Ks, and then the amount of research that's going into this, it's unbelievable. So the support here is, it's not lacking. When someone dies of cancer sometimes these days, it's probably because it really could not be helped. There are really a lot of things going on inside this community that is helping and saving and extending lives in a big, big way. Now, yes, I would love to be able to talk to someone from the Jamaica Cancer Society to find out what kind of support programs they have for persons who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, or even any cancer.
I can speak a little bit about the work that they do. The Jamaica Cancer Society provides examinations, free examinations for breast examinations for persons. So you'll find that a lot of people who can't afford to go to the private doctors for their examinations and their mammograms particularly go to the Jamaica Cancer Society throughout the year for that kind of support. Over the years, and perhaps I have not seen it so much in the last 2 years, they would have these Relay for Life walks, and persons would go, and you'd have different corporate companies participating as a group in these walks and making their contributions. Something that we used to do quite a lot is that during the October month, they would have a special luncheon, or it would be a multiplicity of luncheons the proceeds would go towards the Jamaica Cancer Society to support them so they could continue to offer their service for free. It is important that they exist because a lot of the people just simply cannot afford the mammograms.
Yes.
Because when you have to book a mammogram and you have to fork out $40,000 and $50,000, the average person just really can't find that. So they're not going to do it. There's always a constant campaign to say, get your mammograms done as soon as you turn 40. I suppose they might need to adjust the discussion to say you need to get it earlier. I can't say in terms of surgery and that sort of thing, what is the support level like? But you have a number of oncologists in Jamaica. And I can share a personal experience. My ex-husband, he got diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma years ago, and the support from the oncologist in Jamaica. And the thing, it go back to whether or not you can afford it, because she was able to help us in terms of building blood count up to a level so that he could go overseas to get an operation that they didn't offer in Jamaica. But on the matter of the breast cancer side of it, I had I went to the doctor, did my mammogram, and there were lumps, and we had to go to the next stage. I could afford it, so I was able to fork out whatever it costed for the doctor to go and do the biopsies and to take them out. And it was hard. It was hard just getting up out of the chair when the doctor reads your report and say, well, it seemed to suggest that it could possibly be, huh? And you live with that in that moment. You're alone driving home. You're alone getting into your house, and then I struggle to say, no, how do I tell my children why, that I'm going through this? They do the biopsy, they take the stuff out, and you get the great news that, hey, it's not. But to live your life between those 6 weeks of possibility and a final going through, having that biopsy done, going to the hospital, getting that done, surviving one night in hospital, and then getting home and hope and pray that the report is what it is, it's some of the longest days and nights of anybody's life. I can't even begin to imagine if the diagnosis was cancer, how I would have felt, because I think I went through all of that already and it couldn't be worse. So I shared my personal experience.
Well, let me tell you something. That's so big of you to share that, because you just took my heart away. I feel like married to you now. So that is a huge. Let me tell you something. Many persons don't understand what it means to be sick, right? When you are sick, you alone deal with it, and everything bad go through your mind. So when you see persons who are suffering an illness and then get vexed with you and then snap at you and stuff, trust me, and unnecessarily you, okay? It could just be that at that moment, them might think about for them illness and you become an annoyance to them at that time. And so, it is so, I was in a hospital bed. I was in a hospital ICU bed for 11 days, almost dead. And when I think about it, every time I look, I see one nurse come and pee on me like so, and then walk away. And the doctor come in and pee on me and then walk away. And I say, what the backside is? What am I come and pee on me for? Well, the kind of illness that I had was something that they expect me to die. And so therefore, I was supposed to come out foot first. Right? And so it is, when I in there, I am thinking about why the hell did this happen to me? Mm-hmm. And I did not want to see any friends. And my friends came one day and me cussed them and run them out of the hospital. And I've not heard the end of that, because every time Sharon and Charmin talk to me, they cuss me off. They say me run them out of the hospital. But it is a very personal thing. Yeah. And when you talk about what you just shared a while ago, that 6 weeks, it's the most horrible time in your life. You understand? And so I understand fully. And with the people who are dealing with cancer, that's like pronouncement of death. It is not an easy thing to go to your bed at night.
No, not easy. And let me tell you, family, support of family and colleagues, friends, general, nobody left you out. From the first thing you call and say, boy, this is the diagnosis, and family members are there, beck and call. And it is that kind of a support system that keeps you. And this is a support system when you get a full-blown diagnosis that must continue to support your family. And let me tell you, my friends were on top of it. I didn't have to want for anything. If my head scratched me, somebody was there to scratch. Was a kind of support and at work, and it was just encouraging.
I think you make Michelle cry. Oh, poor me.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good, man. You have friends that are there.
Yeah, man, family and friend was there.
Everybody has friends like that, and so what America has been able to do is to create a lot of persons create organizations where they invite people of like minds and like status or statuses, and so that they can come together and talk about the issues that they have. Some people have, when they share and they have party and they have dinner and they have this and that, it makes it creates a different kind of environment for you to take you away from the thoughts, those horrible thoughts. So that kind of support is undeniable.
Okay, Patricia said, cancer sucks. Lost my mother to cancer, gone too soon. Johnny said, sorry, phone issue. BRCA testing is done when there is a possibility that you or a relative carries the gene. Most who have been tested are confirmed to have the gene, opt to remove breast and take other measures to minimize the risk of breast cancer. Sandra said, good morning, my favorite people. I love the breast cancer awareness colors. You all look pretty in pink, still sleeping. Philip said, accessibility care is excellent here. I got ultrasound, CAT scan, PET scan, MRI in 1 month. Where are you, Philip? Jamaica? I could say Jamaica, to be honest, they do have superb services similar to that of the US. I could say that because I've had people who have gone through it where their doctor on top of it, they have their team of oncologists, they're different doctors. But as I said, you really have to have money and the support to get it. It's not where you could just go to the regular hospital or regular, they would not provide you the care that you need. Peter Gay said, thank God you're okay, Dr. Dianna. Philip said, I have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma now, and I'm surviving. Philip, thanks to the excellent support and care and resources. Where are you, Philip? Jamaica? Paulette said, that's why when you are ill, you need community of people who you can trust, and they will rally around you when you need them. Yeah. Many Jamaicans have the illness, and when you find out that they are ill, they are firing. Lon said, Prime Minister, hats off to you for being brave to share your story. You have helped someone today. Johnny said, Dr. Dianna, that is awesome to hear of your support system. Wondering about those without support, no one to turn to, prayers and hope for them. Philip said he was diagnosed with during the pandemic, and it was terrifying as well. Were scaled down, resources are scaled down, and he's in Florida.
Okay. Right. So we have some thoughts here in YouTube. Karen Bernard, good morning to you, Karen. I enjoyed the authenticity of the show with the natural flow of patois. Yes. Generally, the content of the show warms my heart and keeps me connected to home. Still being enlightened every day. Thank you so much there, Karen. Wanika Perkis, good morning to you, Wanika. She says, very interesting. Beverly says it depends on the employer insurance coverage and many other variables. Yes, that's true. Karen was correcting me. She says it's National Insurance Scheme. Lord.
Scheme. All right. I learned nothing and imagine he used to work there and collecting people their money as pay. And he never know where he used to work.
All right. Beverly says gene therapy helps us to specifically target the type of cancer. That's great. Monica says the cost of the treatment of cancer is much too exorbitant and out of reach for most Jamaicans. Agree. Beverly said it's type of cancer that, it's the BRC1 and BRC2. She was commenting on this type of cancer that can be tested for and treated specifically. Beverly also says it's true. When persons are ill, they are at their most vulnerable and they will behave differently. Some want to support system and others want to be left alone. The latter can be more detrimental. Agreed.
Monica is in fact in Jamaica, and Monica is a very good friend of mine and somebody who I worked with at Jamaica National during a stint, but she was my friend and remains my friend. And so she speaks based on the support that she has given to a network of people around her. I don't have to include in myself. So during that period, whatever you wanted, whatever one needs. But I want to go back to one of our guests who says persons need a network around them. And I think as we contemplate what our government should look like, Leo and Michelle, I think that we need to have within the Ministry of Health a support network, like when people can go AAA, whatever anonymous it is, we need to have a CCCC, something for cancer awareness and support network. So somewhere along the line, we have to conceptualize how we're going to be different going forward. How do we support people who are going through this cancer? Everybody's on Twitter, Instagram, and all of that. Do we need to create a support network there, Michelle? Because, you are the Insta lady.
Well, the question is though, Dianna, are people willing to come forth and admit that they have cancer?
Yes, they just want to know that they have a trusted network that will support them and not people that just simply feeling sorry for them. They want support.
I am thinking of the persons them up in Trelawney, Upper Trelawney, right? Yeah. Southern Trelawney.
They talk about it. Those people will talk about it.
Right. And because if they're not willing to talk about it, it's hard to create support. So outside of their family, their immediate family. And so as long as we can reach them and they're willing to talk, then that's one of the things that, that's a good idea, we can help to create these groups and have conversations, even one time a week,
once a month.
And to go run a boat and make them sit down and eat and chat.
They talk because one thing they want to pastor to pray for them and church sister to pray for them. They're gonna talk. Yeah. They talk. They're gonna ask for prayer. Yeah. Renee said, "Oh, you hit the nail on the head. You have to have money because my cousin just had uterine cancer, and we had to jump in and help her financially to get the necessary treatment." Yeah. Great suggestion. We support a network. And you'll be surprised when people talk about it because there was this doctor, she was from Canada, and she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And she just mentioned it on Twitter, and she had a strong following. And she gave the daily update about what was happening, her treatment. But she said because it took her a long time, because there were signs that it happened to us, but we say, oh yeah, let's drink tea or something. But for years she had the signs, for uterine, she had heavy period, she had different things, cramping pain, but she thought it was just regular, but she actually had ovarian cancer. She couldn't poop. And, she said, oh yeah, finally I can't poop, I take laxative. And then it was kind of too late for her. But she detailed the whole story. So then people started checking and they're like, all right, I have these are the signs. Should I check it out? So now they started going to their doctors to get tested to find out. One of my girlfriends has colon cancer that she's battling right now. Won't call her name. But for years, she had a stomach, a stomach acting up, and you say, oh, you need tea. She just said, oh, you need some tea if you burp off the gas and whatever. And then they said she went to the doctor, they said she have ulcer. And then it was when she heard about the actor from Black Panther that died from colon cancer, that they listed all his symptoms and and she started saying, but hold on, these are what I'm experiencing. And then she said, let me just go check it out, but it's not cancer. But when she went to check it out, she was at stage 3 cancer. So all along this time, she's been saying, oh, a tea, let me go drink some ginger tea. You know what I mean? So that is why it's important for people to talk about it, because some of the little things that we see and ignore are actually signs of something that's coming.
I think that if you have to drink ginger tea for 2 weeks for the same problem that you get up every morning, you have the same, that's time to go to the doctor to do some checking, right?
Yeah, but most people, they're like, oh.
If you have the same feeling every day, this is your body. If you have the same feeling every day and you have got to drink ginger tea, then there's might be a little bit more problem than what the ginger tea can.
No, but Leo, we're going to say is the ginger tea never strong enough, so that's why you have to drink some more.
I have also guess.
You see, and a good Jamaican ginger, because if it is
dead
Jamaican
good.
ginger,
Try the other one here, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But some comments.
Comment.
That's
Okay, where did I stop? Sandra said I was misdiagnosed by a hospital of having leukemia. I understand what Leah said, asking why and why not, wanted to talk to anyone. I had a child at the time, worst feeling. Yeah, it's the worst feeling when you have a child. Paula said lots of people in Jamaica hide their illness, especially the older folks. I have experienced this. June said there's Zoom, if nothing else, to get it going. There's Zoom if you want
to
to
get networking. Yes.
Yeah. Johnny said support network sounds awesome. Let's consider all aspects of that support, from counseling, care and treatment, including surgical, financial, spiritual, etc. There are so many aspects to support and assistance. That is true. Philip said, I got support network. Facebook was a major support. I struggled to share it because I was glad I did. Cancer Survivors Network, sharing their experiences. Financial support from my insurance and co-workers, plus the medical team at Nuffit Cancer in Memorial Hospital West. That's good. Paula said some folks are also in denial about their illness.
And that's mostly the problem. It's a culture that culture of denial is something that goes right across the whole world. Some people don't want to admit that they're having this problem. And so because, even though my mom had it, or my grandmother had it, and them most of them have it, them just say, boy, geez, this now gonna happen to me. And when it does happen, they don't want to go to the doctor. They try everything else in the world and so forth. But it's best to identify these things early, so that if there's anything that can be done, it will be done soon. And if you go to any kind of illness, any kind of ailment that can be permanent, or anything that they say is treatable. when they say your illness is treatable, it means that you're going to have it for a long time, okay? for the rest of your life. So anything that is treatable should be recognized early, so that if there's any kind of treatment to whack it away, then we could do it. You know what I mean? So yes.
Yeah, we should also make it a priority to always go get physicals. Make it a date, so you could know what's happening with your body. A lot of people don't do that, especially people think they're too young to do it, but you should.
And also, Michelle, you have to bear in mind, in Jamaica, it's expensive. It's expensive if you're going to go get what is called an executive profile done. It's a whole heap of money to get one simple blood test done.
Executive profile.
It's a whole heap of money to get a mammogram done. And for people who don't live in Kingston, to go to the Jamaica Cancer Society, I don't know if they have a mobile unit. No, I hope that they would, and they would go to different locations. So it's something that, I go back to the bookmobile operation, where you need to know the bookmobile come to your school on Thursday. I go back to the vaccine proposal that we had said that they needed to have vaccine truck, that like the bookmobile, it turns up in your district on a particular day and people can go to that. That is what we need. We need to reach the people where they're at. Not just when it's time for elections and everybody know every nook and cranny and can walk through every gully and river bank and climb every hill and valley, but when it comes to things that are critical to the health and the well-being of the people, it is of no concern. There is no logistics put into the planning and the preparation of it. The vaccine is one of the that get me from long time. The vaccine. And then now, as we think about just this cancer and cancer awareness month, what kind of awareness we're building apart from walking around with a little pink pin? And so half of the country asking, what the pin for? What make you wear that pin there? What it means? There is not that awareness amongst the
I'm
students.
so happy you said that.
Children don't know what the little pink pin mean.
I'm so happy that you
no whole heap of pins. We need to have pins at this time as October start. Every student need to have a little pink pin walking around. Don't care how they match or
just like puppy season.
We need to pass it around. We need to build that awareness. People just, oh.
I'm so happy that you broached that because, you know, cancer requires, and diagnosis of cancer, first of all, requires expense to diagnose it. It requires expense to go through mammograms and all of that good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the bigger part of the expense comes is if you really want to beat cancer, it means going to the doctor once a week for treatment or twice a week for treatment and yada, 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 yada. You know, how many of us in Jamaica have it? Have that kind of money to put out per week to, you know, when I think about Jamaica, I don't think about Kingston. I'm so sorry. Because I think that Kingston has everything that they need. Me not really think about Kingston. When me think about Jamaica, me think about the people in St. Thomas and St. Mary.
And Nachalani.
And Hanover and St. Elizabeth and Manchester. And that's when I think about
and
Jamaica.
Clarendon, how you must stop there. So what kind of foolishness is this?
Path, 4 path, whatever it is called. You know, that's when so how many of those persons have the wherewithal, because they're living day by day first. And so any money where them have, the first thing that they will look for is to retain life, and that is food. Anything else left?
I'm telling you.
And stuff. But how are they going to, when you have cancer at Jamaica, I really can see a doctor says, okay, you're done. I'm being real.
They do tell you that. And recommend.
Because you can't pay me. Yeah, because you can't pay me if you keep you alive. Kind of a thing. I'm saying it real.
Because the thing is that, not surprising, like other day I heard about, it's close to me. There was this treatment and it was like $1.2 million for one dose of the treatment. Exactly. And I'm like, yeah, the person can afford it, but what happened to the other people who need it? They can't pay for one treat. Like I was like, is the entire treatment one dose, 1.2 million? So it's kind of hard. So there's something that needs to be done to help these people, because we're gonna have higher rate because they really can't afford to go get the testing, much as to pay for these medications.
All right.
So
we come full circle as to why doctors don't tell you in Jamaica why you're dying from, because that's why. Because you can't afford to keep yourself alive if you come down with cancer. Listen, I'm just thinking about it, you know. Because if you, here in America, you are going to stay alive with cancer requires a structured, planned, weekly activity to get to another level where you feel somewhat that, okay, may have 2 more years or 5 more years. Okay? And that, we don't feel it because we have insurance. And insurance just boom and just zap it away. We don't have to even worry about it. We pay $10 copay or $50. Listen, my hospital bill was $375,000 in 2008. And I paid $5. $5. Okay? So
I paid nothing on my $1 million bill. Proper insurance.
Exactly. All right. And so I am alive because we have the resources to keep me alive. If I had what I had in Jamaica, mid long time. I am 13 years old now.
The thing is that I've realized, like, I don't know how Jamaica do it. And I know not all hospitals do it. I remember when I was in the hospital during my pregnancy, and once you go in, like, the doctors, the first thing they said, like, do you have insurance? Well, obviously I did, but there was like another. But the next thing is that if you don't have insurance, you see them say, all right, we're going to assign you a social worker, meaning somebody that is going to assist you to tap into the
money.
Different funding to cover your expense. So you don't have to worry about it while you are in the facility. Like, you don't have to worry about medication. And then you also have different churches, like the Catholic Church, who came in, but, you know, like, to provide counseling, like actually walk around to, like, pray with you and ask if you need anything. They provide clothes. When you're in the hospital, they provide everything for your baby. So you don't need, and you don't have to bring anything into the hospital. They literally provide you with the Pampers, milk, everything. When you leave, they give you milk because they are donated.
I think you need to stress that part about funding a little bit more, make people understand that when you're going to the hospital in America, first of all, if it's emergency, they can't deny you, right? That's one. All right. But number two, if you did it for more than an emergency situation, then put you up on the floor. The first thing that's going to happen is that social
No, and you don't mean the floor literally. You mean to put them on the ward. Because in Jamaica, we do floor. We do floor in Jamaica, real floor. So please be clear.
Floor means that it means that you leave out of the emergent ward like ICU or NIC or something.
Yeah.
And you're going down on to be cared for, to be maintained, to be
on the ward.
On the ward, in a bed, in a good bed, with all of the strappings and everything around you, all right? And so you come off of me.
All right, continue now. Yeah.
All right. So what happened is, if you are in there and you go beyond the emergency period, then you're gonna see someone come around your bed and say, "Okay, you have insurance?" "No, I have no insurance." And then the person say, "All right, fill out them form here. Sign yourself, sign this up." And then you can walk out of the hospital without paying a dime.
Yeah.
You understand that?
And they help you not to cut you off, because I'm remembering now too, like they literally said to that person, your income is not important right now because you're in the hospital. They don't care about your income, but if you leave the hospital and try to access the funding, that is when they look at your income. So they try to provide you with all this care. Plus also, I remember when I went in with my pregnancy, you have other social workers that came to you too, because they're going to ask you, were you abused? So we could give you counseling, then so they could contact the police. So they have all these support once you go to the hospital, so that you have, you're comfortable when you're there. You don't have to worry about anything. And that I think Jamaica need to step up, because most of these supports, as I said, are from other companies that are providing these support, like private institutions or churches that are providing these assistance. Not the government per se. They step, like other individuals step up to assist. Our family members that had somebody that died, we say, all right, we're donating money to this organization to provide funding. So that some more comments?
No, I have some.
All right.
Want to recognize.
Okay, you too.
Okay, so Beverly Frey says, "I know Philip. So sorry about
you. Come closer to your mic.
Listen, man. Sure. Beverly Frey says, "I know Philip. So sorry about your diagnosis." She says, "I had a friend who died from breast cancer. I used to take her to work every day. One morning after having had her yearly checkup, she complained of breast pain. I advised her to go back to the doctor. The long and short of it, it was a stage 3 breast cancer, and she died about a year later." Dina Davis says, "Good morning. Came in late, but enjoying the chat." Beverly says, "Dianna, you are correct. We have to meet people where they are."
Yeah, and we have some more on Facebook. Renee said, "Denial is the first part of the stages one goes through with cancer before they reach the acceptance phase." Paulette said, "I agree with Dr. Dianna." Sandra said, "Support is relevant. I have friends currently living with cancer, and having that strong support system gives them a reason to fight and to live." Diana Sawyer said, "We don't have that kind of money." Diana Sawyer said, "Trelawney in the house." Yeah. Renee said, "True." Philip said, "My brother returned to Jamaica, was diagnosed with colon cancer. Treatment access was challenging. Lived in Tower Isle, goes to St. Anne's Bay Hospital, had to go to Cornwall for the medical back to St. Anne's Bay to get treated, drove back in one day. He's no longer here anymore. Rest in peace." So access in Jamaica is crucial. Pauline said, "I used to work at a cancer specialist hospital and noticed that some of the older West Indian patients were tight-lipped about their illness. One lady even kept it from her family." Joni said, "The new administration would need to enact mandatory annual baseline health care, such as physicals, mental dental, and vision checkup. The need to develop relationship with healthcare providers, family, internal medicine, GYN, pediatrician, dentist, and eye care service provider, as well as spiritual advisors and mental health advisors. Silos and separate through processes will not work. Philip said Caribbean folks, especially Jamaican men, are reluctant to go to the doctor here. That's a major problem. Lorna said, I did not want to do the colonoscopy, so I did the Cologuard test. The result came back positive. On my 65th birthday, I rushed my doctor. He scheduled a colonoscopy. I was scared for my grandson. I didn't tell anyone. I already had my burial spot purchased at my church. I had a beautiful dress picked out while waiting to do the colonoscopy. Every Sunday, I go to church. I look at my spot. I went to the colonoscopy and found it was a false positive.
You know what I mean, right? Who's that again? Who's that?
Lorna.
Lorna, you must do the right thing the first time. Sure.
Paulette said, my church partners with the organization that has a mobile truck that provides monograms.
We can ask Leslie Ann to mute her, mute microphone.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
Regardless if you have a health insurance or not, maybe churches or community groups can do something similar in Jamaica.
Come in.
A partnership with Jamaica Cancer Society. Philip said, Diana, you are so direct. Love it. Johnny said, Leo, health insurance is great in the US. However, let's be careful in blanketing coverage. 30 plus years in this industry, there are so many aspects. There are so many uninsured, underinsured, and other types of folks who are not receiving adequate healthcare finance, AKA health insurance. Thank goodness for good coverage, employment levels, income, where you live, state, and where are very impactful towards services, coverage, and your cost sharing. And educated customers is the best customer.
Hold for me.
Sandra said, when are you going to comment on that?
Leslie
I know.
No. I'm bringing Leslie Ann in.
Oh.
Leslie Ann, where's your camera? You got to bring your camera in.
Yeah, man.
Okay, all right.
Hi. Good morning.
Leslie Ann is everybody know Leslie Ann anyway. Leslie is a part of the whole family.
Oh, Lord.
From
Leslie Ann Leslie Ann have to answer the usual questions in here. Leslie Ann, good to see you.
Good morning.
Leslie Ann, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Afraid so till.
Oh, she texts me, Leo, a true me can come in for true.
But just let Michelle wrap up her comments and then we take on Leslie Ann.
All right, great.
Okay, Sandra said my daughter's best friend's fraternal twin had gastric bypass done and was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer and was given less than a year to live. Why do they give them a time frame to live? The girls came to me with the news crying and it broke my heart. They're always at my house and just by me being there for them, they said it's helping them go through it. Diana said, good morning, my favorite panel. All love, especially Leo, my mature crush. Leo, I so like to tease you, but it's all love. And Sandra said their mom was diagnosed. Okay, that's the comment.
I wanted to, the previous comment, I wanted to.
But insurance.
No, man, not that.
Which one?
Just now, before, the previous one before.
Diana, what have our crush? Which one?
That one, the one before that.
Sandra with her daughter's best friend.
Before that?
That was the Leo one, the health insurance.
I didn't want to
go before that then.
It's
the church partners.
Yeah. Huh?
The colonoscopy or the church partner?
I want Lorna to know, right? That when you deal with your health, don't go the short way. Go the long way so that you can find out exactly,
what the problem.
When we do maths, right? I know how to do long division. Remember long division? If you try to do short division, divide like 215 into 12,030. and do it short division and see what happens. Okay?
Yeah. You get calculator.
What is a long division? Jesus. Welcome, Leslie Ann. Good morning to you, beloved.
Good morning.
I am going to leave you to the two ladies because you know I have no part of this.
I'm so glad I got the pink memo. But you know, I'm a cancer survivor, you know, so.
Oh,
know.
really?
You are?
Yes.
Oh, really? Legend. First things first. Tell us where you're from and where you grew up in Jamaica, and then we get into that story.
Yes, because we want to go deep into this cancer thing. We want to.
Oh boy.
It look like.
So, you know, I was born on Dumbarton Avenue. Want to know where that is?
No.
No. It is a stone's throw from Half a Tree Clock.
Yes.
Okay.
I lived my entire life in Jamaica in walking distance from the clock.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Right.
You have legitimate right to say I am from under the clock.
Correct.
And school?
Yes, I was baptized in Holy Cross Church, which is right down Half a Tree
right, just
Road
near the
there.
clock.
Yes. I went to Miss Honey's school. What did they call again? Saint Cecilia Prep, which was just up Hope Road. I could have had to walk. And my brother had to walk me to school and pick me up after school, and then did hate that. Okay. Let me see. What else you want to know now?
High school.
High school. Okay. I went to Immaculate, but I left Jamaica at 13. So I left after second farm. Where family? You know what? Here you go. My entire family went to Immaculate. So I had to go. I was like the 5th generation. So it was a given.
Yes.
So when I take common entrance, and then, you know, you have to make three choices. My first choice was Immaculate. My second choice was Immaculate, and my third choice was Immaculate.
You're forcing the hand of the selectors.
Thank God I got it. But I left Jamaica at 13. So I didn't get to fulfill one of my first dreams, which was to walk, you know, the walk.
Yes, to do that walk at Immaculate. But
I wanted to walk, but wasn't meant to be.
Well, next time you can come for the next graduation exercise and do the walk. So that
you know, I should make that request, eh?
Yes.
Yes, I do honorary walk.
I want to see you in your prom. What? Prom. Because we know say you not
no, they have to wear white dress to Immaculate graduation or uniforms.
Right, yes. We wear white dresses. White
dress or uniform. In fact, they wear their uniforms to or white uniform.
Dresses. Right.
Sorry, Leo. No pom-pom or no prom dress for her. Yeah. But Leslie, we're happy to have you. And we're talking today about cancer and breast cancer particularly, but just general cancer. And we're happy to see that you're here as a survivor, and everybody can think of somebody who they know, but it's not everybody who you know willing to come and have the conversation about it. Tell us how the diagnosis was. What happened? You know, what made you think that you needed that? Yeah,
you know, I found a little lump. You know, I was very diligent about checking my breasts because I had been taught that that's what you do every month, at least. Maybe it's more often than that, I don't know. But I checked. Found this little lump one morning, went to the doctor immediately. And I consider myself extremely blessed because of how he reacted. He said, okay, you're going now over to the radiologist, and we're going to check this out. So literally, you know, 8 o'clock, I didn't have an appointment. I literally just went in, and he said, okay, you're going to go over here. So I went. So I just called my office and said, I'll be late. I have some things I have to do. I went. It was very interesting. You know, they did the mammogram, and then they did an ultrasound. And the radiologist came in, and she was very diplomatic. She looked at me and she said, you know, Miss Samuel, this is very suspicious. She was using very very soft terms. Okay.
Very measured.
And I knew it immediately what she was trying to do. And I said, she says, it's very suspicious. So I'm going to recommend that you go and get a biopsy today. And let's find out what this is all about. That was Tuesday. I had surgery on Friday.
What?
That was quick.
So what stage was it? What stage was it?
It was right before stage 1.
Oh, so you made that
very
decision,
early.
You made that decision right then and there. Say, boy, no, I don't want this in me, right?
No more.
Cut it out. Oh,
Yeah,
That's good.
wow,
yeah. You know, there looking back, everything that happened very quickly. I went for the biopsy. The next day, I got the results. You know, them have a term for it, but don't ask me what it means. It's to something. I don't know. Anyway, it didn't matter. You know, it was cancer. That was the bottom line for me.
Tell me. When they said it was cancer, tell me your mindset. Tell me what.
My mindset is got to go. my mindset was, whatever I have to do to care for this, I have to do it.
No fear, no fear.
No, the fear and the
that's what I'm asking.
The trauma. Let me tell you.
That's what I'm asking.
This happened in the end of March, beginning of April of 2001. 2000, excuse me. Okay, of 2000. It did not actually catch up with me until about November of that year. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Okay. But yeah, so diagnosis Tuesday, first surgery Friday, 2 weeks later, another surgery. Because they didn't do the lymph nodes, you know, they normally take some lymph nodes to make sure it hasn't spread. Right. So they didn't do that the first time, so they went back in to do that the second time. So then I did chemo. Lord God. Chemo. And then
tell us about the chemo.
The chemo was every 4 weeks. And I had 6 sessions.
How did that?
So did they stick you in your stomach or in your hand?
In my hand. Right here.
For your vein.
Right here. Here's a wonderful thing. I had a pediatric nurse as my oncologist.
Pediatric nurse.
Pediatric nurse. So because the veins here are very small.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. And when they what them say is a poison. They're really injecting into your body. So they have to be extremely careful. And so when they put it in, I had to keep my hand completely. They had to actually tape down my hand so that I would not move it during when I was getting the medicine. So I did that. So that I would get
it, but you had to do this how often? Because that's so traumatic in itself. So every 4 weeks, them juke poison into you, them tie you down like you're mad, and you have to be there. That is trauma.
So this is how it went. So I would get the poison on Thursday, and I would be okay that weekend. By Monday, I couldn't walk. I was literally just wiped out. Couldn't go to work, nothing. By the second week of the first treatment, my hair started to fall out. So I shaved it off. I did. I just, you know, I'm not gonna deal with this. The notion of waking up and seeing hair on your pillow, that was just too much.
Literally, Lezian?
Literally, it was just falling out in clumps. And I had a full head of hair. You see how Miss Michelle have a beautiful head of hair there? Lovely, beautiful head of hair.
A fear.
Yeah, and you wish
me had it too. It disappeared. Okay, so I shaved it off because that notion of not being in control is what I realized it was. I had no control over what was happening. And certainly that was one thing that I felt, okay, I can handle this one. So I shaved it off.
That's two things that you did that were
Strong.
yeah, strong movements. Yeah,
Yes.
one, you went straight for the surgery.
Yep.
And secondly, you went straight to cut off the whole here.
Mhm.
All right.
Think about it. Like, it had to be done.
Has to be done.
Had to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dianna, we ask you to just pause on that so we can catch up with some comments.
Sure,
and then we'll
absolutely.
Don't lose your train of thought.
No, I'm going to make a note.
Next time, Leslie Ann, please use the word metastasize. No, use no where's that?
It's
Spread.
spread.
Please don't do that. We learned that brand new word this evening.
Gotcha.
Metastasize.
Let me write that down.
Thank you.
Ortiz says, I'm
think
also
you're-
from under the clock from Alliance Road across from St. Andrew's Parish Church Cemetery. Camille said, hi everyone listening from Bangladesh.
Yeah, cool.
Bangladesh.
All over. VM said there's a group of doctors and nurses that leave from the States to Jamaica to treat individuals with all different kinds of ailment. They do fundraising every year and then head down to Jamaica. They center their treatment in the St. Mary's area. You know about it, Leo?
St. Mary, not St. Mary's, St. Mary.
St.
Okay.
Mary area.
Thank you.
Renee said Horten's prostate screening came across my mind too, because it affects men of color than any other race. And yes, they are very reluctant to do the screening. Diana said, Hortense, here in Canada, my family doctor, his nurse gives you a call to remind you to come in for your yearly physical. So do a lot of docs here. Philip said, had a swelling to my right breast, thought it was an abscess, went to ER, referred to have a mammogram, then a biopsy, and then whoa, moment with at phone came, it's a malignant non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4.
Oh, wow.
My entire life flashed in front and the challenges started. First denial, then acceptance. It really became reality when I went to my doctor and filled out the form and had to check cancer. Diana said, Leslie Ann Samuels, kudos to you on your recovery. Lorna said, Leo, my doctor told me that the Cologuard test would be done for me because I had no family history of colon cancer. That test is DNA. It picks up cancer and everything else. Results are positive or negative. Positive could be for anything from cancer, I can't pronounce that word, don't want to embarrass myself, ulcer to hemorrhoids. Lorraine said, good afternoon, watching from the UK. Cliff said he's been in remission for a year. Unfortunately, I guess it's back, so I will start chemotherapy next Wednesday. The difference, no. I am far more prepared.
Yeah.
PM said, I did like you. Okay, St. Mary.
We have Juanica Perkis. She says stages of cancer care from diagnosis to surgery after treatment.
Mike.
Many times it is not the cancer that kills, but the factors that are not detected and appropriate.
talking to Mike, Leo.
When you read on your YouTube, you don't turn to the microphone, you turn to your camera.
All right, remember put it in front of me.
Yes.
Juanica, thank you so much. Juanica says stages of cancer care from diagnosis to surgery after treatment are overwhelming. Many, many times it is not the cancer that kills, but the factors that are not detected and appropriately treated.
Thank you very much, Leo.
I can't read. Why don't you make me read?
Because you're on the YouTube, man.
Leslie, sorry, listen, I want to hear more. So you went through the whole chemo.
Yes.
What?
The chemo thing was, it was a cycle. So then I'd feel bad and then I'd feel better. And I worked. It's just, through the whole thing, I stayed going to work. I was able to, except for a day or two right after each treatment when I just really felt bad. I lost my sense of taste. Everything tasted like cardboard.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So I lost a bit of weight because I had to eat, but boy, it was tough It was really, really tough. Had a lot
Ackee
of
and
soup.
saltfish. You couldn't taste it.
No, lot of soup. You know, couldn't get all of that to go down.
That's crazy.
No, soup.
Yeah.
Chinese soup, beef soup, chicken soup, whole heap of chicken soup. But you know, Dianna, you talked about the support. My son at the time was 16, and you know, I when you know things happen, I get into action mode. Okay, I just deal with it. Okay.
Yeah.
And as a result, he dealt with it the same way. I was being very matter of fact. He was being very matter of fact. And so I didn't sense any worry in him, which was I was very grateful for, I have to say. But that December, a cousin of mine died. She had lung cancer. And she was a very young woman, but she had smoked heavily for a big part of her life. And we didn't go to the funeral, but I talked with him about it because he had met her, and he came to my room a few days later and he said, "Mom, so that could have been you." I said, "Yes, could have been, but that wasn't meant to be." Well, make I tell you something. You know, it struck him like a light bolt. Okay, he suddenly it. So this is 8 months later, you know. Okay, because so much of this is how you handle it.
Yes.
Okay, I shaved off my head and I never wore a hat. I went to work, no hair. You know, it was very freeing for me. That worked. I had people come up to me in CVS in the pharmacy and say, "Are you in treatment?" And I'd say yes, and they, you know, they would engage me in conversation. Folks were very free to approach and offer assistance, offer support, even if it was only for those few minutes.
Leslie-Ann,
Really helped because
Leslie-Ann,
I was very open. I was very open with it.
think about your life
Yeah.
before diagnosis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about your life after diagnosis. What is different?
Several things. I remember I said that it didn't really strike me until many months later. It struck me one morning. I was in church. I go and cry now, you know.
Please, please.
I was in
Don't
church.
let me cry.
Yes, I was in church, and it's like it just came over me. You know, all of that I had held in for all those months. And I sat in the car after church, and I must have cried for about a half an hour. I just let it out. But I was, by that point, I had finished my chemo. I had done my 30 days of radiation. You know, I was on the path. I did not have a mastectomy, and I certainly did not even think about reconstructive surgery. Very interesting things that I think about now, and it was like never crossed my mind. Never crossed my mind. But the thing was, at that point, I realized that, you know, this life that we have here is not a given. Okay, so one, do the things that you want to be doing. Okay, if there's something that you always wanted to do, do it. I bought my first Volvo. I had decided that I had to have a Volvo before I did. Don't ask me why. but the next year I could afford it. I bought a Volvo. But it was about being much more mindful about how I lived each day. I think that was the biggest change. I became very my reflective part of my life began then. I will say the big reflection didn't come for many years, but that's when the whole notion of looking back and understanding what was happening in life, and that is not about you. Okay, somebody is in charge of this life. Okay, so your job is to listen and abide.
Why did you cry?
Why
did you cry, Leslie-Ann? Why was it crying because you're happy that you got over this, or crying that
relief.
Oh.
It was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was over.
I mean, crying is good.
Yeah, crying is good, but
let me
like
tell you something. You know,
Oh,
every year I have my mammogram.
that's good.
But that anxiety, that fear, that wondering happens
Anxiousness.
every time.
Yeah.
When you're going for the test and you have the test, and as you wait for the results, it's an anxious time. No matter how many years it has been, because you don't know. I have known many people who had early stage cancer like I did, with the likelihood of it recurring being very, very low, and it came back.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually one of the questions I asked my doctor. I said, okay, so this happened. I get it. What do I have to do to make sure that it doesn't happen again? What changes do I need to make?
Mm-hmm.
Is it diet? Is what? And his response to me was, Leslie, and I have no idea.
That is true.
They don't. At the time, they really don't know.
They don't know. That
They
is
don't
true.
know.
Because it could be healthy, because I've seen people who have said, all right, I'm going vegan, I'm going to go keto, and then cancer reappears. So it's like,
you know, I'm happy that you all have said that they don't know, and you just have to live your life. So when I come and say I'm eating jerk pork, just make me live my life. Make me live my life.
You sat there too, right?
Yes.
So we're going to the place named Lambs River, right? We're going to Lambs River.
Yes, oh yes.
Are we taking her with us? We're taking her with us.
Yes,
absolutely, I'm ready.
I'm going to carry Michelle. They must do chicken down there by now.
Easy. Some more comment. Philip says the key to recovery is positive mental attitude.
Yes, yes.
Paulette said, Leslie-Ann, thank you so much for telling your story.
Yes.
I'm happy that you're a survivor. Pamela said, so sad that he's back. Guess for Philip, that you will have to go through it again. But you know, we all will support you, praying for you.
Yes.
Diana says, Leslie-Ann, you resemble my dad's sister. Are you from St. Elizabeth, Jamaica? That is my dad's origin.
He said she come from town under the clock. What is wrong with Dan?
But all the Campbell them, which is my mother's side, come from St. Elizabeth. And all of the Campbells are related. Every Campbell in Jamaica
you need
is
to
related.
You need to teach us a little bit of St. Elizabeth tongue.
That's all I know.
Okay, Johnny says, congratulations, Leslie-Ann, on your 20-year victory over cancer.
Yes.
I didn't even calculate the years. That's a long time.
Leslie-Ann did either.
Yes.
Yeah.
Years.
Michelle said Mary's area is correct. It's a possessive related to the service.
English for me. You got academics for me.
A part of where I speak around here, no English.
You all are funny.
And Anna says, so true, the support from people, physical, mentally, and emotionally helps patients to live stronger and longer. Philip said, crying is a therapeutic part of the recovery.
Yes.
Anna said, amen. Joni said, crying cleanses the soul.
Yes.
Good, bold, fashion, soul care. Sandra said, may God continue to wrap everyone diagnosed with cancer and all cancer survivors in his healing arms. May he continue to grant them strength, courage, and peace. God bless you all. And Anna said, true, man.
Hey, so listen to this, right? When I asked Leslie-Ann, what was the difference between pre-diagnosis and post-diagnosis, I expected her to say, you know, Leo, you know when you got a doctor and you have to fill out all of them form, yeah? And you check mark 100 things. No. And all of a sudden after, you have to look careful now. You can't just say no. You have to look to say what? You have blood pressure. Check, yes. You have had a stroke, yes. You have urine problem at night, yeah. All of these things you have to say yes nowadays, because you know, young no more. All of a sudden, you can't take that. Listen, for granted no more because it's a part of your checkup.
Yes.
Very legal.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Michelle, we still not check. Yes, not true.
Exactly. You know what's funny? As I said that, I remember I went to the doctor with someone, and I was sitting there same way. You know, I'm supposed to mark off all these things, and I noticed the person was marking. So I'm like, how you think the doctor gonna help you? How? You think he gonna read what is wrong? I said you have to.
It's such an important document to us nowadays.
Yes.
You know, once upon it wasn't important, it was an annoyance. Why do I have to check all of these goddamn things here? You know? But no, it's so important because they want to know up front.
Yeah, what is that? So they can help you.
Lord
You know,
God.
the interesting part of that though is when they ask about, you know, is there a history of cancer in your family?
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. And we talked about that actually, you know, because that was just not something that was talked about. You all were talking about this earlier.
Yes.
And so we have no real knowledge of illnesses, true illnesses in our family, because nobody never write them things down, you know, and certainly didn't talk about it, you know. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. My aunt, my mom's sister died of cervical cancer. So we are all on alert ourselves as women to be mindful of cancer, period, for us. But only one, she and I are the only ones that we know of. We don't know of anybody else. My grandmother lived until into her 90s.
Yes.
Except my parents didn't die of cancer. You know, so that's just unfortunate that that's not information that is typically shared, and we don't, many of us don't know if we have cancer in our families because nobody talks about it.
I it's only recently that I was able to ask my mom just before she died, what did your sisters die of? You know, because I know she was, you know, she was very ill. And then she tell me, say, well, nobody don't know really. You know, my Auntie Pooks died of she had cancer, breast cancer, Auntie this one breast cancer, and then Auntie this one breast cancer, and then my sister all of a sudden. So that's 4 female in my family. To me, my aunties are immediate. Right?
Sure, absolutely.
Immediate. And so, you know, me never have them the kind of information 10 years, 12 years ago. Recently I got them.
Yeah, as I talk about that, it just came to mind about a conversation I had with one of my friends. Hopefully she's not listening. But I'm not calling any names. But it was a sad story because her mom at 59, 60 just came down. It's a form of dementia where she, you know, this powerful running an organization and she just can't remember them, nothing. But for like 10 years or more, she found a book where she started to write down little things, you know, like to remember, but they didn't know it was. Only to find out the grandmother had something similar. So also the grandmother knew that it was coming. So she was notating everything also. So they organized their wills, their trust and everything. And then she found out after talking to another aunt that it was a sickness for the family, but nobody talked about it and nobody looked into it. So like usually at this age, like between 59 to 65, they have some form of dementia. So now the mother is getting testing, so they could figure out what it actually is so that they can figure out how to address it. Yeah, how to address it.
Yes, wow.
YouTube, but any comments, Leo? YouTube?
Oh, YouTubers, oh my God. I am so sorry, YouTubers. These guys are keeping up my attention, especially Leslie Ann. I come with her story. Jesus and peace. Me never know all of them thing about Leslie Ann. I mean, know Leslie Ann a long time. They stopped talking. What happened? Uno still did that? Please say yes.
Yeah, like Facebook went up, but Demetrius said, Philip said, Leo, that is what happened to me when I checked cancer. And Philip said, family history is paramount.
Yeah.
Joni said, those forms help with healthcare and health financial statistics for demographic and psychodemographic and other scientific data analysis and population trends. Used by hospitals, physicians, affiliation, underwriters, local, state, and federal government. Epidemiologists.
Who that?
Joni, she sound like she does science.
Joni, I need your contact number, your contact information, Joni, because you sound very bright. I need it. Bad.
Yeah, but it's true now, because I was watching a little documentary, and this area in Louisiana, like everybody has cancer, different type of cancer.
Yes.
And then they found out like years ago, before they relocate African Americans to that plot of land, it was a wasteland where like plastic companies used to bury their things way down, so like it no leak into the water supply. And then all of them have different type of cancer.
And there was another movie on that type of brain cancer that was developed in a community that has a lot of electrical.
Was it in the one in Long Island? There was a community in Long Island.
In that movie, Erin Brockovich.
Yes. Thank you for that. But these things help to put these kind of survey results together so that we can have an idea of what's going on.
So you know, I don't really know how this happened, but sometime just after I had the cancer, I was introduced or asked to participate in something called a Black Women's Health Study. And I've been participating in it all these years. It's being done out of Boston. I want to say Boston College. It's either Boston College or Boston University. Please forgive me if anybody is listening that is affiliated with it. But every year I get a survey and I very dutifully fill it out. But because of course over the years it has grown, but it began with that kind of study about women and cancer, particularly breast cancer. It has grown since that. But I think those kinds of studies, if you have the opportunity to participate in them, are very helpful, especially for us, because now nobody now study us. Okay, truly.
Leslie,
they now study us for try to help.
Is there a possibility that you would not have completed that study if you didn't have the experience?
It's possible that I would have put it aside. Yeah, but it became I have to do this.
Yes.
It was my immediate feeling was I have to contribute to this because it will hopefully one day help others, and so that became a must do. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
I imagine there are many more studies like that, programs like that. We need to find out more about those.
Yes.
And share them so that folks can not only participate, but also get the information that they produce, because it can only be helpful.
I am sorry for, if we have this lack of support that it sounds like we have in Jamaica, especially for the country people. The people in the country who, it's a sad thing when you don't have what it takes to continue your life, and once you're diagnosed.
I have to say that I really love Dr. Dianna. I loved your comment about the cancer bookmobile. That concept of taking information to where folks are. But I also found myself thinking about, we really need to help our children understand the role that food and taking care of their bodies and taking care of their health, they need to start that understanding early. Yes. And I don't think they do. I didn't get it as a child. Oh, please. I did not think about what I ate. It was put on the table, I ate it, and God forbid I left a crumb, and then I heard all about this, all the starving children in Africa.
The starving children in other countries.
Absolutely, so a bit of mindfulness, this whole concept of mindfulness is just really resonating with me. There's just so much more that we need to do to expand that whole concept, especially to younger children, you know, of being present in their lives and thinking about what is happening each and every day. You know, I don't have to get all self-absorbed. That's not the point.
Yes.
That's not the point. But I wish we grew more vegetables and, you know, ate from the land more instead of the processed stuff. But and nothing so fast. You know, our children are. It's all about how quick they can do everything. Food,
instant.
Everything is instant, and that's not about good habits and the kinds of things that principles that will really guide your life. You know, planting the seed, watching it grow, watering it. There's a lesson to be learned there. Okay, lesson to be learned just in that whole process as you think about it, right? That you can apply.
We are trying to shame me for. We are trying to shame me for. Look, I am very.
But no, you see, lesbian is a matter of you throw your corner, you know, call no foul.
Very comfortable talking patois the whole show, and you come on with your little stush. No, not stush. Little pretty English. I try to make me feel bad.
All right.
That's not like your problem. That's not like your problem.
Whose problem is this?
We have to go have another class, another session that looks at self-esteem.
Talk a little patois. Talk a little patois. Boy, here, the real one come out of you.
Okay, but I agree with you.
He said, go, Leo.
I agree with you, Leslie.
We were talking. I'm trying to change the conversation. We were talking this morning about patois, and someone said, "Leo, what make you chat so much patois?" And I had to think about it for a minute. I had to think whether or not I am causing people to leave the show because I'm speaking so much patois. But then I look at what other persons have said today while we were talking, and realize that they are comfortable with me being who I am, because that's me. Me chat patois anytime, me chat English anytime, and I mix them both all the time because that's how me enjoy having conversations. So I pick on you now because more you spend the next half an hour. I challenge my challenger.
You don't have half an hour, Leo.
We don't have half an hour.
You get where? How much we have left?
There's a few. There's a time I speak patois.
I know. Hey! I know.
At least I didn't say patois, right? No. You know, time and place for everything, you know. But Leo, you can only be Leo.
Yes.
Okay.
We appreciate Leslie Ann so much. I've known her for 8 or 9 years, somewhere there. Let me tell you something.
The top count.
While you spoke, I thought about why do you do the things that you do in philanthropy? And I think that you don't recognize that after 2001, you made a commitment to serve people. Because I intensified after 2008. And so you realize that this life is not just about me, that we are all connected.
Correct.
We have to help each other. So I see how much you, Leslie Ann, go out on the limb, extend yourself in a way that is different from anybody else on these kind of platforms. And I really want to tell you the reason I called you here this morning, because we didn't even talk about what you came to the show for. But you
it was not about
I wasn't sure that I had a reason.
No, but it's about cancer.
It was just to come up. No, I didn't even know anything about cancer. I just asked her to come on the show and share, be a part of us for an hour.
Yeah.
Yes, but this is the kind of sharing. But Leo, what it brings then and highlights in the interest of time is that Lesia need to come again. Somebody suggests that this is just part one, and around this whole conversation of cancer, we have to have a part two. But Lesia has certainly
she don't have cancer alone.
No, but that is what we're focusing on today. So let us just go away with that.
For today.
Let us just go away with that, knowing that she have to come back.
Tough, man. It's hard because we're talking about something that's killing people, and it's hard, man. It's tough. It's really hard for me.
Yes, it is.
It is also tough for those going through it.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know that Leslie Ann was a cancer survivor. And
you didn't know that, Leo?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear your story because
yeah.
it's encouraging. It's encouraging, especially when you talk about your son. And the support and him understanding, because a lot of children go through it and it kind of impacts them. And sometimes the parent or the person going through it don't realize how it's impacting the child. And you included him in the process, not like leaving him outside to try to figure out, you know, you included him so he could go on with the journey.
What hit me is the amount of persons in Jamaica who are not getting the kind of care that we are accustomed to getting.
Yes.
And once you are diagnosed, listen, I'm not making a general statement about Jamaicans. I am making a statement to say that I can imagine a doctor recognizing that somebody has cancer in Trelawney, South Trelawney, and not having the money, the patient doesn't have the money, and the doctor just says, you're dead. In a fee mind, you're dead. It's okay. Me move on to somebody else who can.
No, I don't think so. No, Leo. I don't think our doctors would react that way. I think our doctors may recognize this situation and that, you know, the medicines may not be affordable and the surgery may not be affordable. But what they then do, I think our doctors are much more compassionate than that. What they then do is they find the care that will at least help them live comfortably for the time that they have left. And they tell them things like, so listen, you know, none of us are going to live forever. So, you know, live today for today. So they're encouraging in that way. I choose to believe.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's
our
true.
doctors are
much
more
you are
caring.
right, Leslie. You are right. They perhaps would not recommend a treatment that costs $400,000
exactly,
but they would recommend something to ease your pain so that it's not so painful. You know, as opposed to that. So in their mind, they have to make a separation, as Leo says, but it's not a resignation. Say you're dead and move on to somebody else.
Yeah.
How do I help you to bear this based on your financial capability?
And that sounds like at the end, sorry to cut it, but like, you know, like at the end when the doctors figure out there's nothing more they could do, they usually say, put you in a place of comfort. Do you want to go home? Do you want to go to the hospice? You know, like, try to make you comfortable to get.
I'm not even there yet. That's not where I am. I am actually using Leslie Ann because Leslie Ann says it was below one. We call it again?
Early stage.
Very early stage.
So I am looking at somebody up in the hills of Trelawney and say that person has a below one first stage, and that person does not work and does not have a job, but the doctor was able to recognize it. It means that, like Leslie Ann, that person should be able to move to the next stage, boom, knock it out, and go into therapy and da. Who has that?
Well,
that is what I'm talking about.
I'm going to surprise you and shock you. I'm going to shock you with this. You know, South Trelawney, top Trelawney country people, they might have more money than you. You know why? With them yam farm. And the thing is that you might surprise my country people, they will get the money, they will call and beg if they are diagnosed early. But the issue with them is that they don't go in early to be diagnosed. So by the time
Trelawney people might be rich. I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about
them have yam.
The only thing that they have is a yam hill. And they
They have goat and cow, Leo.
Yeah,
What
but
you
the
talking
point, yeah, but the point is that the
what
diagnosis.
happens? That's what I'm asking. What happens, Leslie?
Yeah.
Do you understand my fear?
I do understand your fear. And the issue is that, you know, we are unfortunately a culture of we downplay and we ignore and we try the home remedy and we go and see the little bushman and we try and get a balm and a tea and we are willing to try. Oh yeah, we go and see a little man. You know, we are willing to try all of those things.
You just do patwa a while ago. Yes. Yes.
All in time, appropriateness, Leo, appropriateness. Yes, but that is a cultural thing, right? That's unfortunate for us. That, you know, we try everything before we'll actually go to the doctor. I mean, how many times have we heard? I mean, and that is not just for cancer; it's for everything, you know, that is related to our health. We just feel that, you know, we have a solution here. We're going to work this, and you know, it will care for itself. And that's just not always the case.
Yes, yeah, that's true. So they need to start be encouraged to go in early. Oh, 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. That's a day.
Wow, time go fast on this program.
I want Leslie to wrap up with 1 minute first.
You want me to wrap up what?
Yeah, just
the program?
Yes. 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah, I take each of you 1 minute at a time.
Listen, I did not know quite what to expect with this program, but I have to tell you that it's been delightful. I actually listened to the first half, and I completely understand why folks tune in. This is a really real conversation about our country and our people and who we are. And I applaud you all for doing this, and thank you so very much for inviting me. And I hope when you invite me again, and I can tell you the okra story.
That's one who may talk about the darn okra story more. I don't want. So much God have mercy. I laughed a little pop up last night. Michelle.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm going to be short. And in seeing that it is breast cancer month, people, please go out, you know, do your yearly, find out, because as Leslie said, you know, the earlier the better, and get tested, and encourage your family and friends who didn't tune in today to definitely go out and do their yearly physical, so we could fight. It's a fight for our lives. And remember, COVID is still a thing. So if you're inclined, vaccine is available. Go out, get the vaccine, and wear your mask, sanitize, social distance, and see you again on Tuesday night. Have a wonderful weekend.
Dianna, you have 1 minute.
All right. Just to say, boys, it's been a great show. Leo, I understand what you're saying, and yes, they need to look at empathy amongst our medical workers is probably something that we need to better manage in Jamaica. Sometimes they just want us to tough things out, and it's not always the best approach to say, well, argue when they let me move on because I can't deal with this mentally myself. So there's a need to look at mental stability and wellness of all players, the doctors, the nurses, and the patient themselves. Leslie, my takeaway from your story is practice of self-examination, how important that is. And it's probably so we need to come up with a way to make our children more mindful and aware of it. There's so much more that we've spoken about, but I enjoyed being here this morning. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for sharing. And for those online who shared their stories or just simply supported the others, look here, we're going to have the support group. If we have to do it. And when the pin them don't sell after October, when the price drop, I want to buy all of them, send them to Leo so he can send it to us and we can distribute it among schools. Thank you very much.
I love your decisions that you make, Leslie, and that's what I leave with. I love the fact that you're able to see it, boom, knock it out, see it, boom, knock it out. I love that because it tells me that you have a mindset that you will challenge anything that's out there, and I love that big time. Have a wonderful day, guys. Everybody on the outside and here on the show. Have a